family law, assisted living, and men's health. Now, sit back and enjoy the next hour of Ask the Expert.
Gosh, this is still so weird. You know, if you've been following the show long enough, you know we were always on from 5 to 7. Well, now we are drive time, 6 to 7, but not only on Thursdays, but Mondays and Thursdays now. Ask the Experts 2 days a week from 6 to 7. Enjoy the show driving home. And I tell you what, this is the holiday season, and my next guest, our expert, doesn't know how excited I am about this show, because I think this show is going to touch a lot of our listeners. So I want to welcome Leslie Vestridge, the marketing director of Tequesta Terrace. Guess where there are Village of Tequesta?
The Village of Tequesta.
Did I say that right?
You did.
This is an assisted living, but it's not just an assisted living. This is, I call it upscale.
Elegant.
And they are so lucky to have you.
Thanks.
Because you greet most of the new people who come in for the first time, because you also handle admissions.
Right, I do.
So we're going to talk about the holidays. And I want to tell you that, especially if you're in Palm Beach and maybe mom or dad are starting to get up there and you don't want to have to worry about them anymore, you want a place that's safe and you don't have to worry, this is the greatest place, and it doesn't take long to get to from Palm Beach County.
No, not at all.
So you can still go up and visit them as much as you want.
We are so worth the drive if you're
You
in
are.
Palm Beach Gardens or a little bit south. We're in Tequesta. The Village of Tequesta is just north of Jupiter. You know, everybody knows where the Jupiter Lighthouse is. That's a huge,
I would think so.
It's a beautiful landmark, and we are about a city block north of that. So
You're where all the celebrities are.
We are.
All the celebrities are
They
all
should
in
come visit.
Tequesta. So this is the holiday season.
It is.
And, you know, we've been talking for about the last 15 or 20 minutes. And I was kind of surprised because we were talking and I said, are people depressed during the holidays? And you know what? You've got so many activities there
We do.
that no one has time to get depressed there.
Oh, no. Once you're around in an assisted living, which is supportive services for adults, and actually, if you're over 18 years old, you can come to an assisted living. You don't have to be 90 or 85 or 70. You are allowed if you qualify and you need some help and you want safety. But
We've
our
never
residents...
talked about that before.
No, we didn't. Our residents are really very happy during the holidays. Even if they're alone, they don't feel alone. Even if they've lost a loved one in their life or a significant other, they still have all their other, I call them all their other housemates, sort of like Big Brother, with them, and they're having great activities. So yesterday we went out, we had 2 busloads of folks. We did it 2 different days. We went out and did Christmas lights for about
Whoa,
an
how
hour.
nice.
And it was wonderful, and we had snacks and hot chocolate. We pretended we were up north, and the lights were just amazing. And we had so many people making reservations, we had to do it 2 days in a row.
Wow.
But we also do that for our memory care as well. So the memory care residents who are able to get on a bus, and we send care staff with them, also go out and view the lights. And in Abacoa and Jupiter, there's this little area that people go all out. And I mean, it's breathtaking. It beats that program. What is it?
So
Watch
they
the
love
Lights.
that.
It's such fun. And then we have a Christmas party for the assisted living. And tonight is our Christmas party for the memory care. So where you can we have 24 families coming to be with their loved ones, creating new memories in memory care for the Christmas holiday.
We're going to talk about memory care
We
tonight.
are, and-
But I got to tell you, I'm going to brag on you.
Okay.
Because when I do the show, I think about, would I want my mother or father, who both passed, but would I have wanted them to be at Tequesta Terrace? And I got to tell you something.
Sure.
We talked a couple months ago about the hurricane, when the hurricane was coming. And what you do for the residents there. How you took the extra step to make sure everybody was taken care of just blew me away.
Really, it was great.
I will never forget our conversation we had, because you do a lot of extra things that you can't put a price tag on.
No, you can't. And our staff is amazing. Dorian, if you can remember, I know we're going to hurricane season rather than holiday season, but Dorian was right across
I had a
from
brag on
us. Thank you. We couldn't, nobody could give us a good trajectory for the storm. And after all, look what it did to the Bahamas.
Right.
And it was sitting right across from Tequesta. It would have been the
remember
eye.
that.
And our building it has a backup generator that can withstand, well, it serves the entire building. And even the residence rooms, my office, everything. And we
You
tested.
could have stayed.
We could have stayed, and we could. Oh, 4, like not a really big 4, but you couldn't be for sure. So we erred on the side of caution, and 2 buses later, 25 staff, dogs, cats, not the birds, they stayed. And we took everybody up to a hotel in a little north of Orlando in mid-state, and it was, everybody had a vacation, and we really worked hard,
I
but
know
they
you
were
did.
safe, they were happy, they were fed, and it was wonderful. And then we
What
came
good
back.
does it do to put your mother or your father in an assisted living and you have to worry about it? That defeats the whole purpose.
It does. You should have peace of mind.
Yes.
So I know it's holiday season, so let's segue to that. Everybody, if you're home, if you're visiting, if you're coming from out of state, you're coming to visit grandpa and grandma or mom or dad, I really want you to observe them. If they're getting into their 80s, usually I think the magic number is like 85. I don't know why it is. You might start noticing, are they taking care of themselves appropriately? Are they making food for themselves? Are they shaky? Are they holding walls when they walk around? Did they have any fender benders? Check out the car to see if there's
Wait a
any
minute, I got
bumps
drunk
along.
one night. I was holding up the walls. No.
That's different.
That's different. Don't even
That's
drink.
different.
But
Are they
so that's what
shaky?
you look for.
Yeah, I want you to look for whether they're wobbly, whether they're shaky, whether they're neglecting some of their personal hygiene, maybe, or even neglecting the things around the house. Is it becoming overwhelming? Are they paying their bills? Are they doing all those things? Is mom complaining about dad because he's not the man he used to be, but in really subtle ways? And not to be in denial about what's going on. I mean, my mom was in Tequesta Terrace, and I had to really get out of my own way. Denial is don't even know I am lying to myself. That's the anagram for it. So I had to really look at her, and I had to say, she's not safe at home alone anymore. And why is that? Well, she's not cooking for herself as well. She leaves the stove on.
You never think about something like that.
She forgot to pay the water bill, and they turned off the water. Or she let the water run because she forgot. Things like that started to raise red flags for me. Maybe they
What's
have
the difference in Alzheimer's and memory?
Okay, so we can talk about that. But I'm just even talking about for assisted living.
Oh, just for assisted living.
Even assisted living, when
That's when it's time.
Well, it's time. If somebody's getting sicker and sicker, going to the hospital a lot, and they really can't get to a doctor on time, if there's nobody around and they're starting to depend on their neighbors, maybe they really shouldn't be driving anymore. And now if you take away a car, you take away somebody's independence. But what happens when they come to assisted living is they get their independence back. We take them to doctors. Sorry.
Well, how do you explain when they come to you? Because you are taking things that they've taken for granted. It's a change now.
It's a change, but you're not giving up anything. Actually, you gain. So think about this. Your mom's in her house, and she can't go shopping anymore because she can't drive. So she has to wait on the neighbor next door when they have a free time. or if she wants to go to synagogue or the church, she has to wait on a good friend. And she really doesn't get up and down the steps very easily, and she's not so sure about things the way she was.
They don't want to rely on their kids either.
No,
they don't want to
be a burden.
Yes, exactly.
Very important. So here's mom alone in the house, waiting on everybody else, and her life is determined now, when you don't have transportation, on what other people will do for them. And so that's not what happens at Tequesta Terrace.
Isn't home security for them? Is that the only security they have? So how do you get them mindset?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to change all that.
So home is what you make it.
Okay.
And Tequesta Terrace is a home. And it's about safety. So when you're not giving up anything, maybe a little space in all those 30 years of gathering stuff, which by 80 you start giving stuff away anyway, what you're gaining is independence. We go shopping for you. We'll take you to a doctor's office. We'll make you dinner. We'll do your laundry for you. We'll pay. You don't have to worry about paying the bills because everything's included. We will help you get into a shower and do a standby assist.
Wow.
You don't have to worry about falling. So if mom or dad are falling a lot and they've gone to the hospital a lot, if their medical issues are getting a little complicated, we have nursing 24/7. During the day from about 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. there are 4 nurses in the building, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning you add 2 more nurses, and then our executive director is an RN as well. You can't get better services. I'll tell you a story.
Housekeeping too?
Housekeeping we do once a week, and if we need more, we have 4 people on housekeeping that keep the building pristine. We have a life enrichment person that gives us all the activities from music to arts to flower arrangements to painting to bingo, Pacino, Jeopardy. Not only, and we do exercise, so we have physical therapy in the building if a doctor writes for it. And then the doctors also come round if your primary physician is too far away. Doctors come and round every 2 weeks. So what
Wow.
assisted living gives you is choices. I'm going to go to bingo. I'm going to go to the movie club. I think I'm going to go to the library club and read a book. I'm going to use the computer and get on my email because they have all this. I'm going to make a list of everything I need from the shopping center to the grocery store, and the girls are going to get it for me, and they're going to pick it up and put it away. And they're going to fold all my laundry. How could you, and then I'm going to have the camaraderie of my peers. I'm not going to feel alone, which lots of seniors do during the holidays. I'm not going to feel alone anymore. I'm not going to feel isolated anymore. If I lose one person, and that of course happens, there's 5 other people who I'm friends with and close with that we can talk about it together and share.
Wow.
That's the beauty.
And I heard the food is so
It's
good.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yes. You can see I haven't lost any weight.
Well, that's like the fastest 15 minutes.
Really?
We're going to go to break. Give everybody your phone number.
Sure.
Write this number down. At least call Leslie and just hear what she has to say. This place is so beautiful. Give them your phone number.
Sure. 561-207-6500. And my website is www.tequestaterrace.com. Call me even if you just want to talk about what assisted living or memory care has to offer. I will be happy to chat with you.
We'll be right back.
As part of an award-winning family of senior communities, Tequesta Terrace is the premier choice for assisted living and memory care in Palm Beach County for over 16 years. Seniors enjoy a carefree retirement, resort-style amenities, transportation, prime location, and a lifestyle that is always socially engaging. Dedicated staff provide any support residents may need, including experienced nurses around the clock. Call 561-207-6500 or visit tequestaterrace.com. Experience matters.
And we're back. This is the Ask the Expert show. I'm host Steve O, and we are doing our assisted living show tonight. The show after this that comes on at 6:30, we'll be doing a personal injury show, but we're talking about memory care and just life at Tequesta Terrace. And we're here with Leslie Vistrich, who is the marketing director. I bet you have about 10 different hats.
I do. Well, everybody does, because, you can't walk by a resident and not want, and if they need help them out. So, but you asked me a question before that I didn't answer, and that is our memory care. So what's memory care? So dementia is the umbrella for all the memory diseases.
Okay.
And they're really not memory diseases as it is brain dying disease. So Alzheimer's is the most prevalent of the dementias, but you could have vascular dementia, you can have Parkinsonian dementia, you can have Lewy bodies dementia, you can even have alcoholic-induced dementia.
Parkinson's
Dementia.
is considered dementia.
There's a Parkinsonian dementia that happens from the shaking of the brain and all of that. I'm not that clinical, so don't ask me detailed questions, but there's all different kinds. So when you're starting to visit your parents now, and usually when it's grandma and grandpa or mom and dad, and one of the two might be experiencing some memory issues. You and me will go in the kitchen and we'll kind of get there and we'll go,
What are you coming here for?
What did I came in here for?
Right.
And you'll go, and you'll have to retrace your steps, and you said, oh, I wanted a drink. Or you'll open up the refrigerator and go, what was I looking for? Normal aging. But when somebody starts to get where you should look, if somebody's not really cooking right, or they're putting like ice cream in the refrigerator and not the freezer, and they have you should always look at their out-of-date food, no matter what. If you're not seeing well, you're going to get things that are experiments and cans that were from expiring 2016. So you should all do your parents a favor and throw those out. But when you're starting to see that, my mother, I'll use my mom as an example, but she would go into the bathroom, but she wouldn't really shower. She'd just turn the water on and walk out and then tell you she showered. So if personal hygiene is starting to worry you, certainly driving should start to worry you. If they're not appropriately pulling out of the car, stopping at stop signs, and go look at the car again. I'm going to stress that if it has a lot of bumps and in it or scratches, you might want to take a ride with mom and dad.
We see those signs that says silver or something.
It's a silver alert.
Yes.
That comes from a person who still is confused. Because if you're confused, what happens, and it was just on when I was driving here today, there's a silver alert out there. So what happens is your wayfinding gets mixed up. So I'll get in the car and I'll think I'm going to Macy's. And I remember...
How do they know how to drive a car?
Because how long have they been driving? Since 16. But they might not remember where they're going. So my mother had been going to this one doctor for 20 years. And I was meeting her there because I knew she wasn't a good historian about what the doctor said. But she'd been going there 20 years. Well, her appointment was at noon, and she didn't arrive. So then I waited for about 3 o'clock. She didn't arrive. Then I got on the road. I called the police. Everybody started looking for her. Do you know how many people look like your mother in a white car on US 1? 6 o'clock, she showed up at the doctor's. I have to tell you, that was the worst 6 hours of my life.
Oh, it had to be.
Then the car was gone. And what happened was she got lost because she stopped somewhere. Things became unfamiliar to her in a neighborhood that she knew for 30 years and made the wrong turn and was lost. And then finally, somehow, thank you, God, ended up back at the doctor. Then I took away the car, which was very hard, because that meant that I was the driver. And then when things started to get a little bit more dicey, when my mother started to detach from the house, this is not my house.
Oh.
I knew
it's got to be so sad.
It was hard. And so I knew she came to live with me for a little while. And then I chose Tequesta Terrace because of the great care that I knew she would have in memory care.
What an endorsement.
It's true.
I mean, not only do you work there, but your mother was there.
And before I was the admissions and marketing director.
Wow.
And I chose it because I knew the care would be amazing. that it was a peaceful, kind, loving, and compassionate environment, that the people were trained in how to deal with folks with memory and dementia issues, and that she would be really well taken care of. She would be socialized, she would have friends, she would have entertainment, she would do things, and, my mother became the queen of memory care.
Is that separate from the other residents?
It's a secure environment because my mother, and this is another thing that could happen, is all it does is take one time, like the one time that she got lost. One time at 4:30 in the morning, she decided to go to her house in Brooklyn. She was on her way. She only had the golf cart with no keys. It was 4:30 in the morning, and thank God for good neighbors. They found her pushing the golf cart down the driveway. And my mother is really tiny. Well, she shrunk. And anyway, but then I knew she couldn't be alone anymore. But all it took was one time, and there were ponds all around the area. If she had decided to walk to go find her place in Brooklyn, because that's where her mind was, it would have been very scary. So
that's something that probably a family member needs to decide.
You should all
'Cause they're
talk
not gonna
about.
think about
no,
that.
you can't give that kind of power to the person who has memory issues or dementia. They're not thinking right. They don't go from A to B to Z to D in a logical way. And it's hard because it's your parent or your grandparent. And they've been the boss, like my father used to say, miss, so it's really a hard thing to talk about. So you just have to do it gently, and you have to, or you should observe whether they're safe or not. They don't know that they're not safe. Like my mother didn't realize she was not safe. In fact, when I took away the car, she told me she was going to get a boyfriend.
What is, because I think if I were in my car right now and I'm listening to the show, it seems to me that the kids are reluctant a little bit about putting their parents in assisted living, like they're shucking off their responsibilities or their...
Good question.
I mean...
So you're not putting them somewhere.
Yeah, but how do you explain that?
Because you're giving somebody a lifestyle of care, a lifestyle of compassion, a lifestyle of safety, and all the freedom, actually much more freedom than because I was like a helicopter daughter, and my mother would go, "I'm your mother, stop that." And, when I got a chance to step back and let my mother be who she was, even though she was different, she just blossomed. And the best day was when she told me...
You don't have to feel like a guilty conscience
You're going to feel guilty. I ate copious amounts of chocolate.
But I want them to make that first phone call to you without feeling guilty.
Don't feel guilty about the first phone call. It's all about safety, and it's all about care. And the worst thing in the world is to wait till a crisis happens where somebody falls and breaks a hip and they can't recover, or somebody goes off like the silver alert I saw on my way down here. And what if they don't find that person? Now you're in big trouble.
Right.
And I got lucky. My mother showed up at this at the doctor's office, and I considered myself one lucky daughter. And had it not turned out that way, I think the guilt would have been far worse.
Absolutely.
And it's my head, my problem, that's wouldn't allow her to do this. As children, you have to let go and give the person back their dignity, because that's what it's about, rather than being a helicopter, big lecturing, whatever, you're not safe, blah, blah, blah. That's worse.
Stop feeling guilty. I want you to call Leslie tomorrow morning. There's no charge for calling you. And ask the question. She is so good at this, and you can hear in her voice how much she really cares. Give everybody your phone number.
Sure, 561-207-6500.
And the website?
TeQuestaTerrace.com.
Give Leslie a call tomorrow. I mean, I wish my parents were here. I wish I would have thought. Sometimes you don't even think about this.
You don't?
Because you just, hey, my mom, she's cooking, but how hard is that on her? How hard is it to remember to take her medication? How hard is it just to walk to the bathroom?
Right.
Because most apartments aren't made I mean, they don't have the railings on there.
Nope.
The toilets.
They don't have somebody helping. And even if you did have private duty in the home, it's not enough.
Yeah, right.
You're not engaged. You don't have the socialization. You don't have your peers.
Yeah.
You don't have your peers. They're your friends.
Leslie will be back with us again next month. Tequesta Terrace. You're amazing at what you do. God bless you. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got attorney Shane Farnsworth. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
As part of an award-winning family of senior communities, Tequesta Terrace is the premier choice for assisted living and memory care in Palm Beach County for over 16 years.
All their personal injury clients a promise. If they don't recover monetary damages in your case, you will not pay any attorney's fees. Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, offers a free consultation to evaluate your legal case. If they take your case, they only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337. You are listening to the Ask the Expert Show with host Steve-O. We will be right back with more experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Join us every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Now, get ready for more Ask the Experts.
And we are back. We are for the next 30 minutes. And if you're wondering, what are you doing on this time at night? Ask the Experts is now on Mondays and Thursdays, 6 to 7 drive time. And for all you new people, this is an old timer with us. He's been with us forever. But we're doing our personal injury show tonight. And it's perfect because we have New Year's Eve coming up.
We do. We have also.
You know what that means?
Yeah, it gets
And
dark.
Christmas parties. And people tend to get into accidents.
They do. Plus, it gets dark now by 5:30. We have a lot of traffic. The snowbirds are back. So
I know.
There's still construction, perpetual construction. So all those things add up to, dangerous driving conditions this time of year.
I've got surprises for you tonight, and we'll get to them. But you know what? So there's a lot of new people tuning in for the first time with our new hours. So tell everybody about your firm.
All right. My name is Shane Farnsworth, and I run Shane M. Farnsworth, PA in Delray Beach, Florida. I'm located across from where the new IPIC Theater is. Small firm. I've been practicing for over 20 years. We do primarily personal injury and civil litigation. We try to do a great job for our clients. We try to give them personal attention. And, fortunately, we've been doing this a long time, so we're experienced at it. And, if you get in an accident, hopefully you'll think of us and give us a call.
And listen, even if you live in, say, Hollywood, you cover all of Florida, but they can call you on the phone. They don't necessarily have to come to your office.
Yeah, absolutely. We represent people throughout the state. Primarily, most of our clients do come from Palm Beach County and some from Broward. We can talk to you over the phone sometimes if it's not convenient for you to come to our office. Sometimes my paralegal, she'll go out and do an initial consultation. She'll go down and do the paperwork, and I can talk to you over the phone to do the legal aspect of it. But, or for example, if you get in an accident, you're in the hospital and you're not mobile, or your car is in the shop because of the accident, you don't have a way to get around, we can come to you. We can facilitate that and make it happen.
I got to tell you, because maybe some people who have had a personal injury problem, maybe they just called somebody off of a bus or a billboard, and they weren't happy, because I've had it before in a lot of our other markets. You really look at customer service, your client, with service, personal service.
We do. There's a good portion of our business that, is repeat business, people that we've represented before and done a good job. And another large portion of our clients are people that are referred by former clients. So we want our clients to be happy. We want them to remember us when they're in an accident again, or they know somebody else who is. And there's nothing more satisfying than having somebody come in and say, "Hey, my cousin, my neighbor, my uncle, you represented them a couple years ago, and they said, you're the best, and that's why we're here." And so, so we definitely try to take care of our clients. Like I said, we're a small firm, so you do get attention when you call, and if you need to speak to me, you'll speak to me.
Hands on.
Yeah, it's not like a big firm where a lot of times you never even meet the attorney, and you're only dealing with support staff.
Department.
Yeah.
What's your name? No, I'm the intake department. Well, I got to tell you, I don't know why my Renee, her son, has always got problems with cars, and somebody sideswiped him. He wasn't hurt. I cannot believe what happened. He got a phone call from a guy who said he was with the insurance company and he would handle his case. Have you ever heard of attorneys doing that? So she thought, oh God, the insurance company is calling to see if, and the guy even said, we'll still have to take out 30%.
Well,
tell people what that is.
What you're describing is what's known in the industry as a runner. It's illegal in the state of Florida. Illegal. It's illegal for an attorney to contact, it's called soliciting, to solicit business from somebody may need legal services. They have to call you. So what happens is my industry is very competitive. You've seen
he wasn't with the insurance company.
No, what happens is sometimes those runners, they'll work for attorneys. They'll come to sign you up with the attorney. You don't really understand what's going on. Sometimes there's also another end of it, the medical end of it. There's, people in the medical field, especially in the chiropractic field, in the past that, in order to get paid the PIP money, we've talked about PIP before, personal injury protection, they'll call people up and act as though they're the insurance company and say, "Hey, you should go treat with Dr. So-and-so." And people don't realize it's not your insurance company. And if you get in an accident, you should report it to your insurance. If you have the information and no
matter whose fault it is.
Yeah, you should report it no matter what. And then, sometimes the other insurance company will call you, but you should know from the police report that you get who it is you're expecting to hear from. And, most of the time, especially if you're injured, I always say, speak to an attorney first, because once you have an attorney, they act as a buffer between you and the insurance company. So you don't say something when they take your statement that could potentially, hurt your claim. But yeah, there's a plethora of problems in South Florida where there's people that, I've actually been sitting with a client before, and we're going through their paperwork. They had been in an accident a couple days before, and someone called them on their cell phone and said, "Hey, you should come see this attorney." Well,
how
I was
do they
sitting
get
there.
that information?
So
fast, actually.
Yeah, they do. I'm not sure exactly. I don't do that, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but they do. And if you get in an accident, there's a decent chance here in South Florida you'll get a call from somebody who's, not supposed to be calling you.
Well, something else we learned today. So she was talking to the insurance company. Now, he's not hurt, and his car is. They weren't. His insurance company had not paid for his car yet, and it's been a week and a half. So I want to ask you, before I go on the rest of the story, how long should it take for the insurance company to have your car covered?
It all depends. A lot of times.
Does a week and a half sound like a long time?
No, that's not really that unusual. Was this a hit and run? The other person took off?
No.
Okay.
But here's the next thing is, she said, well, we have to talk to the state first.
I don't know about the state, but
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
They're going out of business.
Somebody
That's
from Windhaven?
why they weren't paying. And I guess it's regulated by the state. Is that right? Auto insurance?
Yeah, it is. And there are some non-standard companies that, if they get into trouble, what will happen is they get put into what's called receivership, and FIGA takes over. So,
That
for example,
must be
there's a
what
company
it-
called Windhaven right now, which is a non-standard
Might
insurer.
be that could be who it is.
Yeah, they're
It was
based
in the
out of
paper.
Miami, and so that could be part of the issue. But a lot of times, if you get in an accident, the insurance company will want to do an investigation to make sure that they're liable, make sure that everything's on the up and up. So it takes a few days for that stuff to get ironed out and to get an adjuster out to see the car, and then once they do your estimate, then to get it to the
Well, I think here's
place
the
to get
moral
fixed.
to the story. This must have been a rinky-dink insurance company. So we called our insurance company, which was State Farm. I'm sure all the big ones do the same. They took care, everything was done within an hour. So I guess what I'm saying is be careful who you buy your auto insurance from.
Yeah, that's extremely
you might
important.
be
Yeah.
saving a little money, but in the long run, because look, I mean, State Farm took care of it right away.
Right.
Wrecker out there to pick the car up, and we'll get you a rental car, and we'll take care of it.
Well, when you're talking
Is that
about
the norm, or-
when you're talking about I call them the standard insurance companies. A State Farm and Allstate,
Right,
and
Allstate,
Geico,
right.
Progressive. Those companies, they tend to take care of you better. Some of the non-standard companies, I won't give them the
Just winning
airtime, but they a lot of times drag their feet. They don't get stuff fixed. If you have a PIP claim, they'll send you for an IME, an independent medical exam, which isn't independent, where their doctor says you don't need any further treatment to cut off your PIP benefits. They'll try to come up with ways not to pay benefits. So yeah, sometimes you might be saving a few dollars on the front end, but if you get into an accident, the time and trouble you're going to go through trying to get coverage established is definitely not worth it. So if you're able to get insurance with one of the better known companies, that's what you really should do.
Explain to people about PIP, because
Sure.
again, we got a lot of new people
Right.
probably don't even know what that is.
Right. Well, in Florida, the only coverages you're actually required to carry are PIP, which is personal injury protection, and property damage. So personal injury protection, the PIP, we're a no-fault state, so regardless of who causes the accident, the first $10,000 of your medical bills gets paid by that PIP coverage. Now, they changed the law a few years back that they cap it at $2,500 unless a medical doctor determines that you have what's called an emergency medical condition. If you are determined to have an EMC, then you get the full $10,000 in benefits. The other thing they changed was you used to be able to treat basically whenever you wanted to, and you'd have PIP coverage after an accident. Now you have 14 days. If you don't treat within 14 days, you don't get PIP benefits.
That's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. And we always talk about if you're in an accident, getting to the doctor as soon as possible is important for more than one reason. One, it establishes that you're treated within the 14 days, so you have PIP benefits. And the other thing is you want to document your injuries as early as possible so the doctor can correlate that to the accident.
You know what? I hope that with a lot of our new audience, new listeners, that you will keep Shane's phone number. Keep it close by, because first of all, you never know when an accident's going to happen. And second of all, you do not want to be talking to the insurance people yourself. Not when you have someone like Shane that this is what he does. This is most of your practice is injury.
Correct, yes.
So, listen, but Shane can tell you, if he needs to talk to you further. And sometimes injuries come up 3, 4, 5 days later that
Yeah.
you thought you're okay.
It's very common to be involved in an accident, and at the scene, you don't necessarily feel that bad, but then you go home, and then the next night, the next day, a lot of times, that's when you really start to feel the pain. Getting into an accident is something that doesn't happen all the time, and your adrenaline's flowing, and you're definitely amped up. So sometimes you don't really realize how you're feeling, and it comes on over the next day or two. And if that happens, get to the doctor.
Do some people say, you know what, I don't want to start with that, I'll be okay, and it turns out a week later they got blurred vision, they're getting headaches, and that try to save from going to the doctor, I think it's just better if they would call Shane Farnsworth, and he can tell you. Because once they hire you, they don't even have to mess with it anymore.
Well, you don't have to talk to the insurance adjuster.
Okay, so
I can't. Yeah, I'm not the one. I'm not going to give you any medical advice if you call
Oh,
me.
no, I'm talking about for the accident, though.
Yeah, so I mean, if you get into an accident and you contact me, what that does, like I said, once you've retained an attorney, the insurance company is not allowed to contact you directly anymore. They have to speak to you through your counsel. So one of the things insurance companies will do is early on, they'll take your statement, and the adjuster, you have to keep in mind, their job is essentially to save the insurance company money. So, when they ask you questions, sometimes you may not be prepared or understand what it is they're asking or why they're asking. But some of those things, you could, when you're answering those questions, you can say things that, down the line
Could hurt you.
could affect your case
Yeah.
if you're pursuing one.
And it seems like they want to get you paid right away.
Well,
They don't
no.
want to negotiate. No, I'm saying before they get to you.
Yes.
Because that's what this guy was doing. He said, we can settle this case out and get you $10,000. It wasn't even anything about the car. Are you hurt? He was talking settlement already.
Well, I think most of the time, like I said, those people that are calling to tell you that, what they're doing is illegal, certainly unethical. If they're attorneys, it's illegal for sure. And the $10,000 they're talking about is essentially that's your PIP benefits. So your PIP benefits, if you're injured in an accident, more no fault state, so you're entitled to those as long as you treat within the 14 days.
That's
anyways.
how the 10,000.
So that's where they throw that number out. But really what they're discussing is the PIP benefits, which whether you're at fault or not at fault, you're entitled to those benefits if you're injured.
And I think when we're going to go to break, I think people know that you're regulated on your fees.
Yeah, the Florida Bar regulates our fees. We use what's called a contingency fee contract. Basically what that means is that if we don't collect any money, it doesn't cost you anything. If we collect any money for you, we get 33 1/3% of what we collect. If we have to file suit in the cases in litigation, that fee goes to 40%. The other thing is we also advance the costs related to your case as it goes along, so you're not paying those out of pocket. If we make a recovery, then we get those costs back, but you're not paying anything out of pocket, and you don't pay anything unless we recover for you.
Okay, we're going to go to break. Give everybody your phone number again.
Sure. The phone number is 561-272-8337, and you can find us on the internet at farnsworthlaw.net.
We'll be right back.
As an experienced personal injury attorney, Shane Farnsworth understands the key to success in your case. You are entitled to compensation for your injuries, medical bills, lost wages, and personal loss. Mr. Farnsworth will go to trial if you are not offered the fair settlement that you deserve. The law offices of Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, has established itself as one of the leading personal injury law firms in the South Florida area. They give all their personal injury clients a promise. If they don't recover monetary damages in your case, you will not pay any attorney's fees. Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, offers a free consultation to evaluate your legal case. If they take your case, they only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337.
And we are back. I'm here with attorney Shane Farnsworth, and he's got an office in Delray, but it doesn't matter. You can be in Dade, Broward, Martin, Palm Beach. It doesn't matter. God, this is holiday time. People are going to parties. People are having too much to drink. Are there more auto accidents around New Year's Eve?
I'm not sure that statistically there really are, but it seems
A lot of drinking going on.
there's a lot of factors that go into that. There's, the holidays, people are off from work, so they have free time. People, are imbibing and, using alcohol this time of year. Like I said, it's dark much earlier. I know on my way here that, on Dixie Highway, they're repaving it and they don't really have the stripes yet.
Oh, that's
It
right.
is raining today, so it's difficult to see with this, car lights coming the other way. So all those things are factors that make this time of year, one of the more dangerous times, I think. So you really got to be paying attention.
There's so many car chases. They call, especially on 95. I mean, there's a lot, and cars are getting hit. What happens in those cases where a car is fleeing and hitting cars and knocking into cars? Is it going to be your insurance is probably going to have to pay for that?
Well, probably, and here's why. Most of the time when they're running away, it's not their car. It's a stolen car.
That's true.
Assuming it is their car, if you're using your car in the commission of a crime, your insurance isn't going to cover that. So
Probably not.
that's where it becomes really important to understand what insurance coverages you have and what you're buying when you go to your agent, because in that instance, you'd have to have what they call comprehensive and collision, which pays if either you cause the accident or, it happens, like that, if somebody hits you with no insurance or something like that. For example, I had someone a long time ago, they were parked next to a car that caught on fire. And that fire burned the whole side of their car, so the paint was all blistered and it was all burned. They didn't have comp and collision, and the person whose car caught on fire didn't have insurance, so they couldn't. There was nowhere to
Wow.
get insurance to fix the car. So you have to understand what you're buying and why it's important. We always talk about uninsured motorist coverage. I had a mediation today where the person who caused the accident had a minimum policy for bodily injury. So fortunately, my client had coverage. Without that, she was injured pretty badly. There'd be no way she could get compensated.
Right.
So you got to understand what you're buying, what it is.
Do people know what's in their policies?
Some people do, but most of the time, I would say no. When you go to buy your policy, especially if you go to one of those non-standard companies, the agent wants to sell it to you. So what are they trying to do? Get you the lowest price.
Right.
So I have people come to me all the time who will tell me, I'll ask them about their insurance, and they'll say, well, I have full coverage. In Florida, all that means, doesn't really mean anything. But the only thing you're required to have in Florida is PIP and property damage. So you have the PIP. If you're injured, that covers the first $10,000 of your medical bills. And the property damage is if you damage someone else's property, you run into someone's car or hit their fence. That's what that covers. So
Who covers your car?
nobody in that instance.
Wow.
So if you cause the accident, that's what I'm saying. You have to have comp and collision, or else you pay out of pocket to fix your
Right.
car. So, and that's the other thing with bodily. You can't have uninsured motorist coverage unless you have bodily injury coverage. Bodily injury is important because if you injure somebody else and you don't have coverage and you get sued, you may end up losing your assets. So you want to have bodily injury, but you also have uninsured motorist coverage because there's lots of people driving around in Florida with no insurance. There's lots of people who drive around with the minimum required, the PIP PD policy. And if those people run into you and you're injured, you don't have uninsured motorist coverage unless you get hit by somebody who's independently wealthy, which is rarely the case. There's not anywhere to collect from, so you really need to understand what you're buying. I mean, unfortunately, most of the time I had the conversation about uninsured motorist coverage with a client is after we find out that A, the person who hit them has minimal or no bodily injury coverage, and B, they don't have coverage. So you really got to understand what you're doing when you buy it.
We've been talking about auto accidents, but you do other areas too, like slip and falls, dog bites. I mean, it could be a truck. It doesn't have to be a car. It could be a truck or motorcycle, even a boat. I mean, this is boat city down here.
Personal injury is sort of an umbrella term. So, that encompasses car accidents, slip and falls, you dog bite cases, pedestrians, bicyclists, people that get hit by trucks, all sorts of, anything where you're injured by the negligence of somebody else.
And there's something else that you do too, that if someone has a claim on their home and they're not getting the respect because they're handling it themselves, you also handle that too.
Correct. That's on the, that's, if you have a homeowner's policy and, say for example, your hot water heater explodes and floods your house and your homeowner's insurance isn't paying or they're not paying a fair amount for the claim to fix your property. Yes, we handle those claims as in addition to personal injury claims.
Okay. Give everybody your phone number.
561-272-8337.
And I got it. And also, if you want to watch today's show, you put up all your shows on there.
Yeah.
Which really looks impressive.
If you go to farnsworthlaw.net, which is our website, if you scroll down, you'll see the Ask the Experts tab. If you click on that, that has all our shows. And we've been doing this now for, I think this is a year this month, I think. So.
And I want to tell people, listen, you know what? You are inundated by buses, by cabs, by TV commercials. And, a lot of us used to think, if you had a full page, yellow page ad, that meant you were the best. And I got to tell you, because we've been doing this for over a year, I got to tell you that you really do care about your clients. You're an incredible negotiator. We had one of your clients actually on the show who was extremely happy, and that isn't always the case. And you just, think about this. The people I talked to told me that they hired these big companies. They felt like a number. When you're with Shane Farnsworth, you're not a number anymore. And I got to tell you, that is the best way to go. So if you want to call that an endorsement, I love what you do. I love how you care about your clients. And you've been doing this for a long time. He looks 20 years old, but you've been doing this for a long time. And, you're right down there on Atlantic, right off Atlantic Avenue.
Just off Atlantic, yes.
So your office is very easy to find.
Yeah, if you can get to 95 and get off Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach and head east, you can find me. Yeah, that's about it. You turn southeast 4th Avenue. Like I said, that's where the iPic Theater is. I'm across the street from it.
And remember, if you get hurt in an accident, you're going to have to sign something, I'm sure, but you don't have to pay anything right then and there until your case is settled and you get money for them.
Correct. We don't get paid unless you get paid.
Unless you get paid, and I think that's also, a lot of people don't know that they've never been in an accident before. Anyway, we will be back with you again on Monday at 6 o'clock with more Ask the Experts. Shane will be back with us again next month. Happy Hanukkah, Christmas, Happy New Year to you. I'm so glad you're part of the show.
You too, and all the listeners, and stay safe out there.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday.
Thanks for listening to the Ask the Expert Show, featuring interviews with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Call our office at 888-574-6999 to become one of our experts on the show. And tune in again next week for more Ask the Experts with Steve-O. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.